Hi, this is kid reporter Brennan LaBrie on the job at the 2009 Tourism Summit, interviewing Diane Schostak. She's the Executive Director of the Olympic Peninsula Visitor Bureau.
I'm in charge of tourism marketing for the Olympic Peninsula. It means Clallam and Jefferson counties, and I'm a partner with the cities and the marketing entities in that area. I'm also involved in the Olympic Peninsula Culinary Association, the Olympic Peninsula Loop Culinary Tourism Association, which is a co-sponsor of this event, and it's their launch event today. So they're being introduced at this event. So I'm a board member there, and that is a 4-county organization. It includes Mason, Grays Harbor, Jefferson, and Clallam counties, which is a big area. We also do things like, at my office, like produce the Olympic Peninsula Waterfall Trail. Have you seen that yet? 24 waterfalls all around the Olympic Peninsula. It's all around the Olympic Peninsula. I'll show you the brochure. It's really awesome. And that should be one of your... I want you to come on a FAM tour. Do you know what a FAM tour is? That's one of the really cool things about being a writer, is that you get to go on familiarization tours. So we can take you around and show you and take you to waterfalls and show you some of those really cool places. So then in your work, you can share that information with your listeners and your readers and viewers.
Your great-grandfather, could you tell me about his story of being the Ironman as a whole?
My great-grandfather came here to the Olympic Peninsula in 1889, and he had a homestead claim on the west side of the Olympic Mountains on the Hoh River. And he made his improvements, he started building his cabin, and he went to town, which was 27 miles away, to get his first little stove to heat his cabin. And he was carrying that stove home on his back, and he met his friend Chris Morganroth on the trail. And Chris said, "John, isn't that a heavy load, that stove you're carrying? Isn't that a hard load to carry?" And John said, "No, it's not the stove, it's the 50-pound sack of flour in the oven of the stove that's making it a hard load." So that was, from that day on, he was known as the Ironman of the Hoh. He had 4 daughters on the Hoh River, and they all went to college at University of Washington, came back and taught school and raised their families in the Hoh Valley. My grandmother was the first non-Indian child born in West Jefferson County.
Was he born here on the Olympic Peninsula?
He immigrated from Germany when he was about in his early 20s. So he brought his family here, and he lived out his life here. He died before I was born, but his heritage lives on today, and I'm really proud to be a part of the Huelsdonk family.
How did he find the Olympic Peninsula from Germany?
Well, it was, he stopped first in Ohio, and then he just kept coming west and looking for that last frontier. And he loved the Hoh River Valley and the big trees and the elk, and the game was plentiful. And he said, this is where I'm going to live and raise my family. And then he brought his wife, and the rest is history.
So what's your involvement in this conference? Are you teaching or just learning?
Well, my office is the ones that produce the program today. So my staff has done most of the work for it today, but I am here with about 120 of my very best friends to learn about social media and culinary tourism, and it's just an exciting day for all of us to get together and put our heads together and see how we can do better.
So tell me a bit about tourism on the Olympic Peninsula.
Oh, Brennan, we have a wonderful place. As you know, living in Port Townsend, the Olympic Peninsula is very special. And I want to invite you to come and visit Olympic National Park. We have about 24 waterfalls on the Olympic Peninsula. We have alpine meadows and rainforest valleys and wilderness coastlines and wonderful cities like Port Townsend and Port Angeles and Sequim and Neah Bay. And why don't you come and visit me sometime, and we'll go for a walk and see what's out there.
Thanks for watching. This is kid reporter Brennan LaBrie, and I was talking to Diane Schostak, Executive Director of the Olympic Peninsula Visitor Bureau, at the 2009 Olympic Peninsula Tourism Summit.